have always mentioned time and again that my therapy processes, or anytime I do therapy or anytime I get to see a client, I learn. It's always a learning moment for me. It's always a moment to, get to understand things from different perspectives, because each and every client is always very different. Of course, there's a procedure and there's a process, especially when it comes to inner work. But what always stands out is that the stories could be the same, but the effects are always different on each and every client. So they present themselves differently. Yesterday, I was again having one of the sessions the way I do, but something struck me while I was having a conversation with my client. Something came up, during the process of me creating an analogy. And by the way, these analogies that I come up with, these analogies that I create, sometimes I don't even know where they come from. And that's why it's important for each and every therapist to have a spiritual grounding, because it's very important to sometimes get to understand what your clients are going through in different dimensions. And trust me, solutions will be dropped like it's hot. You won't even understand how it's going to come, the analogies that you're going to bring, or the things, explanations that you're going to give. But even unto you, you'll sit back and be like, wow, where did that even come from? But anyway, back to the real, or rather the main thing here. So, sorry, I realized that most of us are operating on a carbon copy. It looks so real, but it is a carbon copy. The reason why we mostly operate on a carbon copy is because when we presented our prototype, when we presented our original self, when we presented who we are, when we presented our authenticity, it was not received with love. It was not received with concern. Instead, it was criticized. Instead, it was trampled upon. Instead, it was stepped on. So when you realized that your authenticity is being stepped on, then you created or you curated ways to be able to survive. You started walking on eggshells around everybody around you, and your system automatically knew that for us to survive, then we have to camouflage. Then you camouflaged for a long time until it became your identity. The reason why most people fear going through inner work, the reason why some people fear doing shadow work, and I can attest that some of my clients literally had to run away. Not that they didn't pay, they paid literally for the whole package. But they chose to step back. Reason being, unearthing the real you becomes so painful that you'd rather operate on the carbon copy. Because when you presented your truth, it was not accepted. When you presented your truth, it was criticized. When you presented your truth, it was seen as nagging. Then you were branded. So when mom came home, you were constantly looking over your shoulder. What have I not done right? Did I do everything right? You wanted your father to, you wanted to gain your father's attention. And so you knew, my dad loves his shoes placed this way. So you learned over time that when your father finds his shoes placed this way, he will tell you, thank you. That was the way you could be recognized. But you didn't involve your creativity that even though the shoes can be placed this way, they could still mean the same thing. But because you needed their constant approval of your carbon copy, you maintained the position. You didn't change the position, but you maintained this. So today, even in your adult life, you're still operating in your carbon copy because now it became too comfortable to unearth the prototype. So my question is, the more you operate on the prototype, the more you operate on the carbon copy, which is very comfortable, by the way, the more you end up being a people's pleaser. The more you operate on your carbon copy, the more you hurt, anger issues, feeling stuck. The more you feel like the world is not a safe space. You want to enjoy life, but for some reason, it's not enjoying. It's not feeling. The feeling is not coming. If you're a millennial and probably a post-millennial and Gen X, you could realize that you have everything going on, especially the external environment looks well coordinated. The children are going to school, roof over your head, shoes on your feet, food on the table, you're driving your car. Literally, things look like they should be showing up. But you don't feel it. You're stuck. You can't tell when you last laughed genuinely. You can't tell when somebody last loved you so genuinely. But again, you can't experience that genuine love because you don't even know what it looks like. You only have an idea of how it is, but you can't put your hands on it because you are comfortable in the carbon copy and you're too scared to touch on your prototype. So the prototype is your inner child. The prototype is the original you. The prototype is the receiving you, the happy you, the bubbly you. But your carbon copy is this woman that says, I got this covered. The carbon you is this boy, man, that looks like things are moving on quite well, but in the real sense is struggling with addictions. So, this I learned yesterday, and the words carbon copy and prototype, starting to make a lot of sense. So my question to you is, which one would you rather operate in? Because I'm ready to help you walk in your authenticity. I'm ready to hold your hand and help you walk in your prototype. So my question is, will you allow me to do that with you? Because I'm ready when you are.